Proxy Table Gaming, PTG, Hyper G, and Lucky Sixes. How are you?
Konnichiwa.
Round 5 is upon us. Is that funny? Why are you laughing? This is serious.
That's right.
Better. Okay, yeah, round 5 is upon us. It's Cardiff, Welsh Open. And I've not had the best tournament in the world with the Orcs and Goblins. Yeah, it's not been a disaster, but I am relatively near the lower tables.
You nearly doubled your score in the last game.
I did. That's true. That is very true. Yes, I went.
Look at the positives.
I went from 13 to 23. So yeah, I was indeed. It wasn't a loss. Draw, and a hard-earned draw against Drew.
Very much so.
And so I go into round 5 on 23 points out of 80.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't mention the 80 part. I got 23 points.
23 points.
Yeah. So yes, I am chasing down Gobbo and Scabbat, who are the other Orcs and Goblins best in race challengers. They are both ahead of me by significant amounts. I.e., I need to win big if I'm going to challenge them for it.
And did you have that before the game? Did you have that mindset? You were like, all right, I'm going to go for big.
Absolutely.
Risk it all.
Going for broke. I was risking it all. I would take naught if I had to, so long as I knew I'd tried.
So this is certainly a YOLO.
This is no messing. This is no messing.
Nice.
And one of the things that helps that is the fact that I'm against Andy Barton's Beast Herds, and everyone loves playing against Andy Barton. Whatever army he's taken, he's just such a fun guy.
Such a cutie, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And I'll tell you what, one thing throughout any battle that I've played against Andy is that even if he has really rubbish dice, he enjoys them. He finds it funny. He finds it great. And
he prefers that, actually.
Well, yeah, maybe. But it's the right way of playing the game. And so yeah, he makes it really enjoyable no matter what. So yeah, I was really looking forward to this. And round 5, when you're playing against someone you like playing against, that's all you can ask in a tournament. So
yeah, man.
Cool. We went pretty standard with the objective here: dawn assault and capture the flags.
Yeah,
nice.
This was round 5. Rob said that he just wanted everyone just to chill for round 5 and do what they know. So,
and potentially because the other objectives might have favoured MSU lists, and so this was an anti-MSU because capture the flags is against the scoring units. So MSU scoring would be vulnerable.
Which is interesting in a tournament format because obviously the top players on the top tables should, by the nature of the objectives, all be MSU. So it sort of come down to who's least MSU.
Potentially, yeah. Unless you just robbed the other objectives despite not being MSU, maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. So there is the list of G Hyper, same as it always has been, of course. Yeah, it's been all right. I'm still enjoying it. That's the main thing. And yeah, we'll see how Shagger, Azanax,
probably say
Scuzzler.
Up to now, and probably in this game in terms of its capture of the flags, the lots of scoring units have been more deterrents or like bluffs than actual good use.
They haven't really done their job in terms of claiming objective. So that is possibly why I'm doing a lot worse in this tournament than I did in Art of War. In Art of War, those scoring cavalry units were diamonds, all of them. They won objectives, they caused threats, they did everything. In this one, because of the deployment funkiness, I think I've not really been able to benefit them. Like in Breakthrough, they were deployed against you for the whole army because it was blind deployment. They haven't really been able to get round stuff. And achieve the objectives. And now, obviously, we're in capture the flags where they're vulnerable.
This isn't a good one for them. I can't remember because obviously it's been like 5 weeks of like battle reports, but like I can remember a few times where you're saying I put them there to look like I was going for the objective, but I wasn't. So I don't know whether that's a common thing. I remember it twice. But I don't know the others. And I don't know
a lot of the objectives, although they favoured MSUs, I don't necessarily think they favoured my squishy scoring units because they're not even really very. I mean, they're cavalry, yes, and they've got some armour, but they haven't got a lot of armour because they're feral. So, against Drew, they were deployed against units of Temple Guard. Against Dawid, they were deployed against his whole army. So. Yeah, I haven't really been able to maximise them in this tournament.
Yeah,
but I think that's still fine. They've still been good. I still like that as a list, and I love my models, so all good, really. Going into Andy's list, I actually kept the screenshot from the pack for this one because Andy's got some cool names on his units, which is nice, rather than transporting it from New Recruit. So he has got Bray Winston, the Beast Lord. It's nice. On a Razor Tusk Chariot, all the shizzles, Beast Axe, Fatal Volley, Death Cheetah, very nice. Sir Loin Ben Cowsley. I assume I'm saying that right, or is there a pun in there that I'm not seeing? I don't know.
The sirloin bit. I don't know whether Ben
Sirloin,
Cowsley.
yeah.
Cow.
I don't know. Cow, yeah, maybe. He's a Mindlane Warlord with Crown of Horns, which I think Crown of Horns is that the reroll or something.
I think it's automatically pass your
hatred checks. Yeah. Cool.
In that unit, I think.
Yeah. Agor's Affliction. I think that's Fortitude save, is it?
So +1 res, lose all your armor, but you get full plus Fortitude.
Yeah. Very cool.
So he's like res. I want to say res 6.
Yeah, probably.
He's like a
monster. I would say so. Yeah. Minotaur Chieftain with the Totem Bearer, BSB, and Destiny's Call as well. So he's rocking 3 characters there that have all got 4 up special saves.
Yep.
Really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And the Twin Hungers is obviously killy. He's got two units of 3 Raiding Chariots in core, and then a Wildhorn Herd, none of which ambushed, which I was quite pleased about. So I didn't have to worry about that as a thing.
Definitely.
Against Beast Herds. 6 Minotaurs, obviously they're nasty in anyone's game. A Razor Tusk Chariot, which is pretty expected. A 3 Razor Tusk Herd, which is interesting to see. 2 Beast Giants with uprooted trees, and a Cyclops for a bit of rock throwing.
Yeah,
interestingly, of course, we are in Capture the Flags. Andy only had 2 scoring units.
Oh yeah, true. Is the uprooted tree the auto hits?
Yes, I believe it is. I think so, yeah. Which is half the battle for Beast Giants, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. The more I look at it, because obviously I'm starting model count. But the more I look at it, the more I look at uprooted tree as being the best one. But very interesting. Yeah. Cool.
So I chose a unit of Raiding Chariots as my 3rd scoring unit for Andy in the Capture the Flag scenario because I wanted him to think twice about zoning me with 3d6 impact hits.
Yeah, man.
Basically. I did think about the Razor Tusk Herd because they're potentially his only chaff, and obviously taking that out of the game may not mean
easy
he hasn't got any chaff,
though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I thought, the chariots are worth more, and I'm more scared of the impact hits. So I'll make him consider giving me a scoring unit by charging them gung ho.
Yeah, nice.
Into deployment. Andy's got a beautiful army. I regrettably did not take close-ups of Andy's models, but there are a few here and there. So we've got some Vanguard going on from the Giants, of course. Let's start with Andy's list. 2 Vanguarding Giants. Dawn Assaultment, he couldn't deploy where the building is, which wasn't really a problem, obviously.
Sure.
So the building is massive in that corner. So the Giants are vanguarded forwards. He's got the Razor Tusk Chariot on the left of the picture as we see it, the Wildhorn unit. The Chariot near the Cyclops is his General Beast Lord, Bray Winston.
Bray.
He's got I love that. The Razor Tusk Herd is in front of the Minotaurs. And then 2 units of scoring, 2 units of Raiding Chariots. The one with the blue marker is the scoring unit. So already that's having an effect on his deployment.
One thing we, I guess, haven't slightly talked about, his magic setup is just bound spells?
Yes, there is not a lot, but it is still bound spells. I think you can get away with having less because of the low cost of casting things.
Yeah, and presumably you used a lot of 3 dice rather than 2.
Yeah, but, exactly. Yeah.
I know that going back on the army list, you had Blooded Horn on the Minotaurs, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So Nardhide on the Nardhide armor and distracting?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Blooded Horn is a +1.
And then he's got the Greater Totem Bearer on the PSB.
Yeah, that's one attack and 8B. Yeah, sure. So he's got 6.
Exactly, yeah. 5, I think. Is it 5? No, 6.
You get 4 on
the PSB gets 4, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just looking if he's got any more.
No,
things.
That was it.
Yeah, so okay, interesting.
Still decent, yeah.
Yeah.
As for my deployment, I have a wrecking team over on the left-hand side. Oh, who dropped for what? I didn't know who dropped for what, but he chose the corner. So he chose that side and the corner, which meant I had the choice of dropping her first, I think.
Yeah. Well,
essentially.
It looks like his giants are vanguarded.
They have, yes. They got Vanguard. Yeah. Because is it drunk or?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Not
There
sure.
is a thing that they can get it, but I don't know. I don't know whether it's part of the tree bit as well. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
maybe. Might be. It might be. Yeah. Yeah, so I've got a wrecking team on the left-hand side, the Goblin Raiders, the Gigantulas behind them. I've got Scuzzler, who I think is in my own deployment zone, maybe slightly out. Don't know, but he can scout, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Wrecking team in front of the Nashers. Keep moving right. I've got the big unit of Ferals with all the characters, Azanax, Shagger, etc. The Spiders are just in front. They have scouted just to be a screen. Then I got my chariots, slightly in the woods, which is a bit scary. And then I've got the common orc ball boys on the right hand side. And then you'll see my three feral cavalry units sitting behind. Yeah. They are keeping their scoring.
It's interesting you've both put your score in behind your other stuff.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So we will see how we go. So I get first turn, and my wrecking team goes Blazo and knocks off 4 wounds on one of the giants.
Rages him up.
So rages him up, but you know it's great because he's counting down. So just 4 wounds. Love that. Well done, wrecking team. I think he only needed an 11, so maybe Andy was a little bit gung ho with his vanguard there.
Sure.
Because I only needed the higher side of average to get there, and obviously I did. So well done, wrecking team. The other wrecking team doesn't move far forwards, and I just sort of move my line a bit, really. The Goblin Raiders get out of the way of the Gigantula, so you can become a zonal threat on that side. Scuzzler's biding his time. My scoring cavalry is still just sitting at the back, and they will stay there for a long while. Nashers supporting the flank of the Ferals. The chariots are zoning a little bit, and are now out of the forest, so they can charge off if they want to. The Spiders are, I think they're not quite on the hill. I mean, it looks like the movement tray is on the hill, but they are not. Sure. And then the common orcs are going round so they can flank threat the chariots if they come forward. Their magic clearly didn't achieve much, as far as I can tell, because we are on
was no deterrent.
Yes, no, it was nothing at all, because we are into Andy's turn. He moves his non-scoring chariots to zone on that flank, which is a good move, really. Obviously, the other one is kind of a bit in a traffic jam, so making them a scoring unit potentially has worked as far as that goes. Because obviously you can't have 2 zones if one is behind the other. Minotaurs move forward pretty aggressively. The Razor Tusk Herd doesn't care one jot for the wrecking team, which is fine. The Cyclops stays where it is so that it can lob a rock, which is scary, because that's a pretty decent template on that. Bray Winston moves forward a little bit, but not massively aggressively. His giants move forwards, but not a massive amount, so they're still moving round, really.
Bit no man's landy.
Yeah, I mean, I had in my head how well the Gigantula worked against the giants, against Awid. Like, if the giant charges in, we're attacking same time, which is brilliant for my dealing with the rage. Sure. Whereas if I charge the Gigantula into the giant, then I attack first.
You might be all right against the one that's only got 3 wounds, then.
Exactly my thinking. Yeah. He does a wound to the Gigantula with, I think, the rock, throwing the rock.
Right, okay.
So it's high strength. He rolled the D3 multiple wounds and got 1 wound, so unlucky for that, really. But yeah, just as valid a target as the unit. And then into my turn, I declare a charge the Gigantula into the one that's only got 3 wounds left. Yes, I am potentially raging out big time if I fail to kill it before it strikes.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping, and I am out of line of sight of the other giant as well, quite clearly. The Razor Tusk Chariot potentially could charge through ruins, but I didn't think he'd fancy that, so I was prepared to accept that risk.
Well, it might depending on where you think, he might be able to go past it and then.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
The 90 degrees is a bit tight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. says that. I might have even declared the war cry to make sure the guy actually got in here. Because I kind of got the sense that Andy was coming to me. So because he kind of had to. So I didn't feel that I would need the war cry later on.
Sure.
So I might have done that to make sure the spider
double down.
Exactly, yeah. Over here, excuse me, the wrecking team goes boom, 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 boom. Does not roll high enough on the dice to inflict casualties on the chariots.
Yeah.
It only did wounds on the Razor Tusk herd and the Minotaurs, but does a chunk of wounds. I killed 2 Minotaurs and 1 whole Razor Tusk herd.
Yeah.
So great. I mean, obviously Andy he showed he wasn't scared of the wrecking team, but then the wrecking team said, "Well, this is why maybe you could be scared."
Yeah.
Obviously, the wrecking team is now
underestimate me at your
yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. You can see he has got gnarled hard on the Minotaurs. I'm not sure what that one is. You probably know better than
I think gnarled
hide, gnarled eye. No, clouded eye. That's clouded eye.
Yeah. So that I think it's distracting and hard target.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any shooting, and I wasn't going in combat, so I think that was probably one that I let through. It was one of the bluffs. Just Cool. Into I think that's just an overview of after my movement. So yeah, I'm very much just waiting for him to come to me, really.
Yeah.
So because of his zonal chariots on his left flank, I moved my scoring common orcs back a bit. I couldn't get over the hill and flank because that building is guarding the chariot's flank. So yeah, I just take my time, really, move my chariots back into the woods so that if he comes onto the hill, I could charge through the forest, but it would be great. And I think really by having my common orcs further ahead than my chariots, the common orcs are the ones that are zoning his chariots from going onto the hill, really.
Sure.
Because my common orcs will go through those chariots.
Are they lances here?
Yes, they are, yeah. And then the Nashers go up to chaff the Razor Tusk herd, just to cause a bit of a traffic jam for him while I do a bit more chip damage, hopefully.
That Nasher in the back isn't a good spot, isn't it?
Yeah. The other one went through water and took a wound on the far left, but he's done his job, so whether he comes back or not is up to him.
He's just chilling.
Yeah, he's all right. I don't know why I took this picture. I think
do you automatically take a wound if you go through terrain?
You take dangerous terrain and take a wound. So yeah, it rolled 2 DTs, rolled a 1.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
because he might just randomly move through the water all the time, getting a bath.
Yeah, there and back. Yeah,
absolutely. Because the rest of the game
could happen, definitely. I think this picture is relatively the same as the other one. My Goblin Raiders on the left are out on the line side of the Giant, and they're just waiting to come and help. I got Pyroclastic Flow up on the Studio Chariots. Have they got 4 wounds each or 3?
I think 3, but it could be 4. It could be equally be both.
But leaves one of them with 1 wound. You can see Andy's great model.
Yeah, I was going to say,
wire. I assume it's wire for the chariot reins. And
chains?
Stuff. It's amazing. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Of course, they're chains.
Little mini chains.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah. So Pyroclastic Flow doing its job. I think that's just a picture of over there. Oh, no, the Gargantulas killed the Giant. No problem.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem at all. And yes, I think I'm actually out of the line of sight of the chariot now.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I've now got a sight in. If he moves forward with his Giant and stuff, I've got a flank charge or whatnot.
Yeah, sure.
So that's cool. In his turn, he charges Bray Winston and the Razor Tusk herd into the Nashers, which is cool. I think to myself that I think Bray has got a great weapon.
Okay.
And the Razor Tusk herd are only agility 3 on the charge. My Nashers are 4.
Awesome.
So I was actually thinking to myself, that's not terrible for me because he might kill a few Nashers with impact hits. Well, he will. But then my Nashers just start going to town before they die.
Yeah.
So that's a really good little agility exchange for me there. So I was okay with that. In other news, though, the Giant goes solo into my Feral Orcs. It was a pretty decent charge.
Oh, Billy Big Balls going in.
And it was a pretty bold one as well. I mean, this is part of Andy just loving life, really, because, he was like, I'm going for it. And I was like...
It's what a Giant would do. for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll see how the giant gets on solo against the ferals. I mean, he had to maximize the giant, and he couldn't make it so that if the Razor Tusk Herd and Bray killed the Nashers, he couldn't make it so both of them overran into my ferals.
Yeah.
So he chose to make it possible for Bray to overrun into the ferals.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which makes sense because the Nashers might kill the others anyway. So that's cool. And the rest of his movement, he moves up 1 unit of chariots onto the hill. Minotaur's coming up behind the main combats in the middle. Cyclops just legs it forwards to be a monster instead of a throwing monster. And the chariot just moves forward as well.
Did Andy say how he'd been using the Cyclops mainly?
No, I didn't. That didn't get discussed actually. But it's a cool model and magic resistance 3 or something like that.
MR3 5 pages.
Yeah, pretty cool. That looks like gnarled hide totem.
Yes, I think
that's
the Razor Tusk armor. But I can't.
Yeah,
they always give 2 things, so I can't.
That is +1 armor and distracting. So the other one wasn't distracting and hard target.
So maybe it's hard target and MR then. I wouldn't say.
Sure. So that's a bit of magic on them to help that out.
How did you feel against the magic? Were you pretty confident?
I was more confident at the start of the battle than as the battle continued. It seemed like Andy could get more off than I anticipated.
Yeah.
So I very much had to let go the lesser spells, the ones that were causing me the least harm. But even those ones were causing me harm.
Yeah, because they have 2 each.
Like so I think it's really strong. Beast Head magic. Yeah. Over here, the Nashers don't do a great job on the herd. They only do 1 wound to the herd, so the herd, is still intact. Bray, unfortunately, in killing through the Nashers, doesn't really roll very far forward. So can't support the giant, unfortunately. And the giant dies. Basically, Shagger just went down. Yeah, killed 4. Yeah, because Shagger attacked first and went crazy, raged it up a bit. So then it killed 4, and then my orcs killed him off. So going into my turn next. I declare the charge on Bray. I figure I've got ranks. I'll be taking away impact hits. Yes, Bray is a monster, but this is as good a chance as I'll get to take the fight to him and to stop impact hits, because potentially in the next turn I've got a Cyclops, Razor Tusk Herd, a unit chariots, all sorts coming in. Whereas if I move my ferals in that direction, I might even be able to get out of line of sight of the chariots. So this was the plan. I get in, which is great. I think it was an auto charge, so that's cool. The common orcs make another dash forward to get out of the line of sight of the first unit. That was basically to make me threaten the scoring unit behind them.
Sure.
And make him think twice about what he did with the first unit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the wrecking team runs through the building, takes a wound. So the other one, I don't think has moved, and it moves off the board, and then just chills out for the rest of the game. Yeah. So I don't think there's much point in me mentioning him for the rest of the game.
Sure.
Because he just jumps on, jumps off, jumps on, jumps off.
He goes off into the sunset. This is where if I was a good editor, I'd do some sort of off into the sunset.
Yeah. Survives to live a happy life. The Goblin Raiders move up to chaff his Razor Tusk chariot. The Gargantula moves around the flank. Has he got Strider Ruins, or is it just Strider Forest? But either way, he doesn't take any wounds from the ruins, so he's in a nice little flanking position, which is cool. My scoring units are still all just chilling on the back. Then I've got my Scuttler Spiders, both the single model and the unit, ready to run forward and chaff if they need to. And the chariots are just staying out of his chariot range, really. It's a bit of a chariot off until I can get my common orcs in decent position on the right flank. Over here, I get Rod of Battle off in Magic, which obviously helps out the combat, but it's a bit of a whiff from Shagger. I think he issues a duel, and I actually accept it with Shagger.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've got the combat res from my unit. I'm figuring that Shagger should survive on a 5-up Aegis and, decent res, a 2-up armor, and Shagger will attack because he's got a potion of swiftness, and he's got a great weapon. So Shagger whiffs, which is the first time he's done it in the whole tournament, so I forgive him instantly.
Yeah.
But then Bray does a wound to Shagger, which means that Bray passes his break test.
Ooh.
And going into Andy's turn, that's not ideal. Because the whole reason of me charging was to try and get Bray out of the way.
Yeah, man.
That rhymes. And yeah, so that wasn't ideal. And I'm also, of course, stuck in a duel with Shagger now. So that's not ideal because Shagger is a real damage dealer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bit of a whiff. Okay. I think that's just a picture of how it looks at the end of my turn 2 or 3. Turn 3. That's my end of my turn 3. And Andy's going for it. Everything's coming in, baby. Razor Tusk Herd comes in. Cyclops comes in for some nice little fun as well. His Wild Horns and his Razor Tusk Chariot charge the Goblin Raiders, which is cool. Double chaffing them, but they will die horribly. Over on the other side, this might be before he does his remaining moves, so let's find out. Yep, Minotaurs move forward around the main combat, which I thought was ballsy as well, because if it doesn't go well for him in the combat, it goes into my turn next, and obviously I was hoping that I could get out of this combat in one turn, potentially. His chariots don't care about my chariots charging them. Admittedly, I've got to go through a forest, so that's possibly wise.
Sure.
So do I want that charge or not? We'll decide in a moment. And obviously the other scoring chariots turn to face the common orcs, which will give them a problem no matter what they do in their next turn. They kill the chaff, which is to be expected. And it looks like Andy's got Gnarled Hide token. So +1 armor and distracting off on, I think it's probably on Bray.
Sure.
Which makes sense because the Razor Tusk Herd probably that wouldn't enable them to survive.
Yeah.
So I had to let that through. He overruns as so, which is nicely neat and tidy from the beast heads there. Both of them running the same.
And those chariots, that chariot isn't attached; it's just part of.
No, just they started the same. They started within 1 inch of each other, so they continue running within 1 inch of each other. Obviously, if they then have a following remaining moves phase, they then split apart.
Yeah.
And this is after combat. Oh boy.
Shagger?
Yeah. Shagger goes down.
In a blaze of glory, though?
Not really, because I only do 1 wound to Bray. I think he starts on 5, and there's a 4 dice. Bray. So Bray is a beast, literally. Dealt with Shagger, and Shagger has gone down. Possibly, this is probably not the first time because I got spanked against both Matt and against Gareth. But first time he's gone down in a proper combat.
In a duel as well.
Yeah, exactly. I killed the Razor Tusk Herd, no problem with the unit. I killed the Cyclops before Thunderstorm.
Oh, wow.
Which was amazing.
Poison going to town on it, was it?
I don't have poison.
What do I mean? Battle focus.
Yes, probably. Yeah. And obviously you're poking it with sticks. And I don't think Andy saved any of his Aegis saves, so got a bit unlucky that it died before the stomp. And yeah, I obviously, I go after Bray gets away. It's a little bit disappointing. But it doesn't take much of an overrun or pursuit to go into the Minotaur's flank. And that's the only way you should like taking on Minotaurs, really. So he has got a spell on them. But it's not enough to turn down the opportunity. Yeah. So. And I've still got Rod of Battle off as well, so that's nice. Then, I go into my turn, and I'm going for it now. I've already... This picture is after one of the Feral Orc scoring unit. Yeah, scoring unit. What am I doing? Charges into the flank with his Wild Horns.
Sure.
We are also down a Razor Tusk Chariot at this point. Because I think what happened was the Gargantula charged the Razor Tusk Chariot and Andy fled.
Or Terror.
Maybe, but it's gone off the board somehow.
So centre to centre, it goes through Scuttler.
Yeah, it might be that. I mean, I remember that the Gargantula failed a redirect test.
Yeah.
So the Gargantula doesn't get to charge into the Wild Horns flank, which is a little bit of a shame.
Yeah.
And also, I also did I declare a charge? Oh yeah, no. So by the time the Feral Orcs had declared their charge on the flank of the Wild Horns, I didn't know the Gargantula had failed its redirect charge.
Or did Scuttler charge it back up to the?
That makes it there, because Scuttler has moved forward a little bit, hasn't he? So yeah, I think that's what happened. I charged with the Gargantula, the Razor Tusk fled, Scuttler charged it back, Gargantula caught it, couldn't redirect.
Yeah.
Or
it was in the way or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I do remember that the Gargantula, by the end of it, couldn't charge the Wild Horn somehow.
Yeah.
But either way,
it makes sense.
Tusk gone.
It makes sense to me that the Razor Tusk got charged, you charge it back, and then there was no way to wheel around it to go into the
could well be,
beasts. So
either way, Razor Tusk chariot down.
Yeah, man.
So I am actually taking that Wild Horn unit with only a unit of Ferals in the flank, which isn't ideal because they're actually the core unit rather than the Ed Bashers as well.
Spicy.
So, yeah, I did think about going into the front with the other Ed Basher unit, but I thought that would give him more attacks.
You at least hold him up here.
Exactly.
You might. I don't think you'll die because it's only 6 attacks back.
Yeah. On the other side, I take the charge through the forest with the chariots because I like the look of that. I take no wounds from DTs. So beautiful.
Nice.
So I'm going to rinse through those chariots and potentially overrun forward, obviously maximizing like so. I don't know whether it overruns into the Minotaurs. I can't remember, but we'll find out shortly. And then remaining move, the Wrecking Team goes straight through the building again. He's obviously got a poster on the wall that he likes looking at.
Yep.
I don't appear to have moved my Common Orcs yet. But everything else is pretty much moving as so. Yeah, it looks like Scuttler's failed the charge as well, so he's moved forwards. Hopefully, I'm going to move my Common Orcs because that isn't a good place to leave them. But we'll find out in a minute. They appear to still be there.
You're just so confident.
Maybe because I mean it turns out that chariot unit isn't a threat because my Ferals minus Shagger go through the Minotaurs in one turn.
Yeah, very nice.
Which is awesome sauce. I think we worked out that my chariots couldn't overrun the front of the Minotaurs, which therefore it was worth fighting the Ferals first. I lose a few Ferals to the Minotaurs as you do. There's still 2 Minotaurs.
How many did you kill? Do you remember?
I think it was at least 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
No, I think it was 2 because I don't remember Andy shuffling up as he was moving from the other side.
Well, were you at the same time, agility-wise?
I was agility 3 on the charge.
Yeah, I think that's about the same.
Yeah, probably.
I think he must have just both tacked. And he might not have removed the models and then.
Yeah,
rolled.
I mean, I had Rod of Battle and I was strength 5.
Was it auto?
It was pretty. It was pretty convincing. Yeah. So the Ferals were on a march even without Shagger.
Yeah, man.
Which is amazing. So next one. The chariots go through the chariots, which is beautiful as well. So
it's good position.
Good job by Gobbo and the Goblins Grotto. Good lads. Yeah, clearly I was very confident about the Common Orcs, so I just left them where they were. So that's a real mistake, but I've only just noticed this, so never mind. It didn't cost me. Good. It's looking pretty good for me at the minute. Over here, it doesn't go quite as well because I actually lose 3 Feral Orcs on the charge and only do about 2 wounds to his unit of Wildhorns. He's steadfast and he turns around. It is his turn next, and so potentially I lose a scoring unit there. But then obviously the following turn I charge in. So even if I do lose a scoring unit, I've already killed 1 of Andy's scoring units, and I'm about to kill another one. So not too much of a concern really. And then this is the last picture. In his turn, the Ferals go through his chariots in their flank. No contest really. They kill them all outright. They don't even run away. And even if they did run away, they probably would have gone off the board through the building and the wrecking team. So no reason to chase them. Bray does rally in Andy's last turn, so potentially could have charged into the ferals. We didn't actually run out of time. I think Andy had pretty much had enough. And I don't mean that in a bad way, as in, I'm done with this. Andy would never be like that. Andy just basically saw the writing on the wall and called it a day there.
Sure. Did he get your points for the...
We didn't even fight it.
Okay.
Because he decided that was, he would rather chill out for the last 10-15 minutes, I think is what it was, which is cool. And again, that's a good way to play. I think he would have killed that feral unit and got some points for them. But you know, when your opponent says I'm done, especially round 5, that's fine. Would Bray Winston have done a job on the ferals? Quite possibly. So that could have been a thing.
You steadfast it for days, though, weren't you?
Yeah, and would I have had the numbers to eventually get counter charges to help? I mean, obviously, next turn, whatever the Wild Horns do, even if they do kill that boar unit, the Gargantua comes in, the other ferals come in. So I think I get the Wild Horn unit. I definitely win the objective, even if I lose the ferals to Bray. And by that time, I can grind Bray out, I would think. So yeah, that was, I mean, you know, did go down as a 4,900 victory.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sounds a bit harsh, really, because Andy did still have points left on the board, by all means. But yeah, it was a good game. Really enjoyed it. And Andy is a superb opponent. So and anyone who wants a game, even if it's just friendly, get in touch with Andy.
Yeah, for sure.
Good guy to play against. So I finish on 43 points.
Respectable.
Big 20.
Okay.
It's all right. It's all right.
That's pretty good.
2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses. So I broke even in the end.
Yeah.
My issue was that the losses were both 0-20s. Really.
Yeah.
You know, whereas at Art of War, when I had 2 losses, I lost 8 and 7. So that's a whole 15 points difference. And that's the difference between finishing mid-table and finishing in top 10. Because essentially that's what happened at Art of War, really. But did I win best of race? Because I was chasing, I needed a big win to challenge Gobbo and Scabfat. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think that Gobbo did not win his last battle. He can comment to confirm. I don't think he did. And I overtook Gobbo in the best in race. And then Scabfat also lost.
What?
But finished on 44 points.
Yeah.
1 more than me.
Gosh damn, that Scabfat.
Just lost out on best in race. To be fair, I don't think I massively deserved it because I didn't have a great tournament. And so I didn't begrudge Dan winning the best in race at all. He deserved it. Got more points than me, so obviously deserved it. So yeah, that was cool. It was a nice little rivalry to have amongst the PTG.
Yeah, that was
corporate.
Cool. Really cool.
So yeah, really good fun. And I came out of the tournament thinking positively about my Orcs, even though they had a bit of a rough ride. I will continue to take a version of this list, I think. There's going to be more painting done on the ferals, just to sort out. I'm going to get more Boar Boys painted as well, whether I put them in or not. The trouble is I'm running out of points.
You got to have a big unit, like 15.
I think so, yeah. 15 common Orcs with 2 up armor.
Yeah. See how that runs.
Yeah. So cool. I'm happy with my tournament, and yeah, we'll go into your round 5.
Yes, against Tony.
Yes, Tony. Let me know what you think about this battle. Not so many decision points, really. A lot of it was kind of, I don't know, felt fairly obvious at the time, and it kind of all worked out relatively well. Maybe should I have challenged with Shagger, or should I have declined the challenge?
Yeah.
Shagger potentially dies if I decline the challenge.
And take honour out of it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's no honour between beast herds and orcs, is there? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, we roll on to the next one. We'll see you in round 5 for Lucky Sixes.
See you later.